let's go to page 752 in your book. So this lesson is to recognize and analyze the normal distributions. So the previous lessons you learned about making the histogram or the bar graph based on the data. And most of the time, the data that you have after you plot it is pretty close to something called, like this is called the bell shape curve or the normal distribution. So it's a lot of time, this one is a bit off, but it's kind of fairly close. So what happens is when you have this kind of curve, right, then you can standardize it and use that to figure out the probability. Okay. So again, so you have this histogram and then you make a curve, and based on that curve, then you can go and do something with that to use that to figure out the probability of certain things, which we're going to get into. Now let's go to page 754. So this is the standard normal curve, and the probability would be the area under the curve. And so here's your standard deviation of 0, and x is your, for example, the example that we just did. The example we just did with the height, right? So this one has standard deviation of 4.4, right? Okay, and then what happens is you have to normalize it. And then from there, you can go to the table and you can figure out the probability of if you pick a person randomly, what will probability of a person will have like certain height. Okay. So again, as we go over examples, it will become more clear. So first, let's go over how to use this table over here. So example 1, it says what is a probability that an observation x lies between plus 2.6 and 2.8 in a standard normal distribution. Okay, so whenever you do this kind of problem, you always draw the curve, and here's your 0, and you want it between plus 2.6 and 2.8. So what you do is, again, you just want to sketch a graph so you can visualize. So here's your plus 2.6, and here's your plus 2.8. So you're looking for the probability between that, means you're looking for this area. Now the way to do this is you go to the table, you look up the 2.6. So if you look at 2.6 in the table, you get 0.4953. That means the area over here is 0.4953. By the way, the entire area is 1. Right, because entire probability is 1, and this graph is symmetrical. So the area on this side is 0.5, the area on this side is 0.5, or the probability of here is 0.5, the probability of here is 0.5. Okay. So you go to the table, you look at the 2.6, you get 0.4953. That means it's this area over here. You go to the 2.8 in the table, and you look up the 2.8, you get 0.4974. So to figure out this area, you have to use this minus that, right? Okay, so the probability will be equal to 0.4974 minus 0.4953. So probability will equal to 0.0021. So probability of something that will happen in this region is 0.0021. Okay, so again, the table is the area from here to whatever value you're looking for. Okay, so now let's go to example 2. It says the mean is 0 and the standard deviation is 1. That example 2, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the answer. Okay, example 2 says, what is the probability that an observation x lie within 2 standard deviation of the mean in the standard normal deviation? So again, you make the graph. So within within 2 standard deviation means you want to find the area between plus 2.0 and minus 2.0. Okay, you're looking for this area, right? Within 2 standard deviation. Right? Here's 0. So this is within 2. This is within 2. So that's what you're looking for. So now again, you go to the table. You look up the 2.0 in the table. You get 0.4772. Now because the table, the graph is symmetrical, that's why you don't have a negative value in the table because it's a symmetrical, right? So this way also 0.4772. Okay, so the probability of plus minus 2 standard deviation is you add this together or multiply that by 2. So you get equal to 0.9544. Right? You just add this together, you get that. Okay, so now let's go to example 3. Okay, example 3, it says the height of a certain group of adults are normally distributed with a mean height of 180. So this is very similar to the example that we just did, the one with the height, right? Okay, so you did all this analysis and you come with a standard deviation, right? You have the mean and you have the standard deviation. So what to do with what to do after that? Well, on this assignment, you don't have to do this anymore. They're going to give you the mean and you're going to give you the standard deviation. So you don't have to do all this anymore. So they're going to give you this too. So what to do after that? That's what it is. So this is that continuation of the previous assignment. Okay, so example 3, it says the height have the mean. So the mean is equal to 180 centimeters. And the standard deviation is equal to 8 centimeters. So what you need to do is you have to do something called normalization, because there are so many different, there are infinite number of data, right? So in order to make this table, you have to do something called standardization. Okay, so you have to make it into standardization so you can use that table. So the way to do this is, so on part A, again, you have to write down all this information. It says find the percent of the group of people having height. So you want to have a height greater than 196 centimeters. Okay? So then what you need to do is you need to go and find the deviation. So height is greater than that. That means height is equal to greater than plus 16, right? Because this is 16 more than that, right? So that's your deviation. Then you have to convert. You have to see how many standard deviation is that. So this is equal to plus 2 standard deviation. See that? Because one standard deviation is 8, and you add plus 16. So that's plus 2 standard deviation. Okay. So now you're going to make the graph. So here's your 0. And again, just put anywhere. You just want to have something to visualize. So it's plus 2. Okay. Now it's greater than. So you have to figure out what area you're looking at. So greater than 2 is this over here. Here's 2. So greater than is this area over here. So now you need to go to the table. Look up the table, and when the table you go to look at 2, you get 0.4772. But that's not the area you're looking for. You're looking for this area. So you need to figure out this area. Notice, remember, 1/2, this is half, right? Well, what's half? Half is 0.5, right? So to find this area, you have to use the 0.5, take away the one you don't need, right? So probability is equal to 0.5 minus 0.4772. So you need to sketch these things out to visualize, to figure out what you need to add or what you need to subtract. So probability of that will equal to 0. Okay, got to subtract. So 822. So 0.0228. Okay, so that's for part A. Now you go to part B. I'm going to do it over here. I'm going to run out of space. So for part B, so that's a probability. A probability of a person that's taller than 196 centimeters is about 2.3%. Okay? Okay, let's go to B. Find the probability of adult randomly chosen from the group having a height between, so you're looking for the height, it's between 172 and 180. So it's in between. So again, you need to go and make into deviation. So 172 is minus 8, and this one is plus 0. Okay? Then next, you need to go and convert that into, so first you convert into deviation, next you convert into standard deviation. So it'd be less than 0 deviation and greater than minus 1 standard deviation. Okay, so you make the graph. So it's going to be between, so here's your 0, negative 1. So this one is like this. So this is fairly easy, right? This one is very straightforward. You look up the 1.0. This will give you 0.3413. So that's it. So probability equal to 0.3413. Okay. Now, what if I ask you what's the probability the height would be between 196 and 188? What's probability of, if you pick a person at random, what is probability that that person's height would be between here? Again, you just follow the steps, right? So this would be between plus 16 and this would be plus 8. Right? Because this is deviation, right? 8 over and 16 over. So this would be between plus 2 standard deviation and plus 1 standard deviation, right? So you draw your graph. So here's your 0, here's your 1, here's your 2, and you're looking for between that, so you're looking for this area over here. Okay, so again, look up the table. So 1.0 is 0.3413, and look up the 2.0, you get 0.4772. So this area would be 0.4772 minus 0.3, missing one digit, 3413. So probability will equal to 0.1359, and that's it. Okay. So the key is make sure you know the steps, work it through, and it's not that difficult. Okay, so let's go to the assignment and let's go and do some practice.